Welcome. This is Back to the Bins. I'm your host, Mr. B. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've been here before, thanks so much for coming back, and if you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. This is a comic book collecting channel, and I'm a comic collector. These Sunday videos are intended to showcase the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop. I've got a pull list, so I'm pretty familiar with what's happening in comics today. I love digging through the dollar bins, and I love digging through the back issue bins. So, if that sounds interesting to you, and you'd like to join me on my journey back to the bins, why don't you take a look over here, and I'll show you what I picked up. Alright, and like I said, these are the books I picked up this past week at my local comic shop, 204 Comics in Winnipeg. And as per usual, we start in alphabetical order, and that takes us to DC Comics with Action Comics. This is issue number 1088. It's a beautiful Leonardo Romero variant. He is one of my favorite artists working today. I love his look. It's a classic, old school kind of vibe, and I'm here for it. And of course, Superman coming out just the other day. This is apropos. We got, of course, Superman and what was the dog's name again? Crypto, I think, right? Yeah, I'll see it yet. Love that cover. Collecting these covers, trying to get to 1100. Super awesome. Keeping with DC and cover buys, here we have Aquaman. This is issue number 7, but we got the Mark Spears variant. You know, we're collecting Mark Spears variants here at Back to the Bins, and this is a pretty cool idea. I believe he'll be doing a number of these variants throughout DC titles over the next couple of weeks, and it would seem as though there's a Justice League thing going on here. There's also one of Crypto with Superman, but it is specifically Crypto up in the corner. But yeah, you know, I like Mark Spears, and I don't have a lot of Aquaman, and I thought this was pretty cool. I like that. Good shine on the armor. Sweet. Still with DC, here we've got another Elseworlds tale, and I would say a contender for cover of the year. This is Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice, number 1. That's a Sebastian Fiumara variant. You know, if you've been watching the channel over the last handful of months, I am loving Sebastian Fiumara's work. Saw this, there were some great covers for this particular title, but I had to go with Fiumara, whose work I'm really into and collecting. Looking forward to reading this. I read Gotham by Gaslight, The Kryptonian Age, I guess, late this or early this year, late last year, whatever that was, and you know that the Shopkeep gave me a complimentary copy of the original Gotham by Gaslight, so I am interested in this. Looking forward to seeing what comes down the pipeline through here. If the covers are good, we'll definitely be showcasing those. Over to the independent section of your local comic shop. Here we've got something I'm sure a lot of people were getting. Beneath the Trees, Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring, number 1. That's a Patrick Horvath cover. This was a series that last year took people by storm. I think it was an unsuspecting hit, and people really embraced this, those who found it. And those who didn't were racing to find either these issues in back issue bins or the trade paperback. And I got onto it a little bit late last year, so I picked up the trade paperback, which I have still yet to read. I know, it's horrible. But I wasn't going to sleep on this now. I'm really interested. The first few issues that I read of Beneath the Trees were fantastic, so I'm looking forward to this. And then over to the back issues, just because I thought I should take a look.
Thank you.
And this is what I pulled out of there. We've got Captain America, issue number 264. I think we've got a Mike Zeck cover here. I just love anytime Captain America is fighting a particular brand of bad guys. I'm also kind of interested to see how the X-Men, what they're doing here, because the type of bad guys that Captain America is fighting here are from a certain time period. So, is there time travel involved? I'm not too sure. But I'm interested in seeing this, and I love this cover. You know, I love my Captain America covers, and we'll be reading this one. Keeping with the independent stuff, this was supposed to come, I think, last week, but here we have The Chamberlains, issue number 2. This is a Todd Skull. I think this is a variant. Really love Todd Skull's work. Love just the creepy factor, the realism. All of that is pretty cool. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to collecting this series. I don't know how many issues this is running, but Todd Skull keeps doing all of these covers, and I'm loving it. Whether they're variants or I think he does some A covers as well with his series. Back over to Marvel. Oh yeah, look at that. Love it. This is Fantastic Four, issue number 7. A 2025 facsimile. This originally hit the newsstands back in July of 1962. Of course, we got a story by Stan Lee. Great cover by Jack Kirby. We are just a couple of weeks away from the new Fantastic Four movie, and Marvel is really pushing that product, so I'm going to be collecting as many of these as possible. Don't know when they're going to stop. In keeping with the first family, here we have Fantastic Four number 1, another highly anticipated comic, I'm sure, although some questions as to why bother. This one, the Humberto Ramos A cover. Always collect an A cover with Fantastic Four. This is pretty cool. Love to see Susan Storm front and center, and looking forward to seeing where this story goes now. Luckily, we've got Ryan North still working on the stories. But for every one Fantastic Four cover, there is another one, and look at this. Fantastic Four number 1, this is the Alex Ross variant. Alex Ross did like the first 23 covers for the last Fantastic Four run, so it was very awesome to see him doing a variant cover. Super, super awesome. I love Alex Ross's work. Love seeing Galactus and Silver Surfer here, as well as the Fantastic Four. Well, we had to get another one because, you know, we love a good portrait, and here we've got one. Fantastic Four number 1. This is the Ji-Hyung Lee variant. We got some Susan Storm front and center as well. Some great colors happening here. I just love seeing images like this, so I had to get it. And of course, one more. We've already seen a cover by this artist, and I couldn't say no to this one. Fantastic Four number 1, the Leonardo Romero Retro Vision variant. So awesome. I'd love to see him do a little run on this particular series. I love it. Super cool, very retro, and I'm here for it. Over to DC, collecting these for the covers, but just might read it just because I know people think this is slop, so we'll see what happens. But this is Fire and Ice, When Hell Freezes Over, issue number 4, the Jessica Fong variant. I love this because down here with the skulls, you can kind of see the texture from whatever sort of board she was painting on. I just like those kinds of artistic textures, so neat to see that. And I love this cover. Sepia tone with the splash of color here and there. Very neat. Back over to the independent section of your local comic shop. Here we have Hello Darkness, issue number 12. This is the Dan Panosian Boom 20th anniversary variant. Love Dan Panosian's work. I love Hello Darkness, a great anthology series of horror stories. I love the variety, I love the artistic variety, and I always love these great covers. Can't say no to some Dan Panosian work. And what is this, like Evil Dead style letters? Or I'm not entirely sure. I'll see if I can find it. But I love this. Cool look. Back over to Marvel with something I would say is a contender for cover of the year. Here we have Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion number 2, Sanford Green variant. I really love sort of just the textures here, the grit in the air, the way the concrete looks, and even the way the lines on our characters are drawn. I think this is a beautiful image of a trio of spider people. Very, very cool. And like I said, contender for cover of the year for me, no doubt about it. Keeping with Marvel, we got an A cover here. This is The Uncanny X-Men, issue number 17, the David Marquez A cover. I'm about an issue behind. I just finished reading issue number 15. So we'll see where this character goes. Looking forward to it. Didn't realize Luciano Vecchio had taken over the interiors, and I'm looking forward to digging into his work because I love his covers. Great to see that he's doing interiors as well. So I love that. And I also love this. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I'm collecting these variant covers. So here we have the Uncanny X-Men issue number 17, the Ron Friends Retro Vision variant. Look at that team. They look fantastic. I love it. Contender for cover of the year for me. Absolutely spectacular. Well, there you have it, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And how about we get back to the real world, shall we? Well, it's a great stack of books. Hopefully you enjoyed what you saw. And if you did, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? It really helps to build the channel, and I'd love to develop a community of people who just really love comics. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next week. And until then, remember, comics are good.